Our calendar application here is a pretty standard calendar, except it is very good looking, as you can see. You can sync it with your Google account and other various accounts, which we'll take a look at later, account options that you have. But you can see you got a month view, you've got a day view once it loads up, or a week view, excuse me, and then you've also got a daily view. Now looking at the messaging application, let's see if we can open that back up. There we go. You can tie this to a webOS phone and access all SMS messaging on webOS phones. I believe it only works with webOS 2.0 or higher phones, so that's going to be like the HP Veer or the Palm Pre 2, which were the officially supported ones. But you can access and send and receive your text messages from the tablet itself. You can also synchronize this with a couple different accounts. Right now we've got a Google Talk account, which it doesn't seem to want to sign into. But you can also add an AIM account, a Skype account, or a Yahoo account for different messaging purposes. And this will show threaded messaging, threaded conversation when you are in a particular conversation. Quick Office is there for you to view Office documents. It doesn't give you any editing capabilities just yet, so all you can do is view Word documents and Excel documents and things like that. Adobe Reader is there for PDF viewing. Built in on this is also Bing Maps, as you can see. And Bing Maps is pretty cool. You've got a couple different options. It will gather your location based on your network information, but you can choose how to view a couple different ways. Bird's eye is pretty neat. You get a bird's eye view as well as the common satellite view. And of course you can type in an address and go there. Look at the president there. As you can see, it's very fast. And we can actually get directions from where we are all the way to the White House or wherever we choose. So you can get that by car. You can also choose transit directions or walking directions if you desire. There you go. That's Bing Maps. Very similar to Google Maps that we've seen on the other tablets like the iPad and the Android phones. Not quite as feature complete as the Android ones, but still very good. Contacts here, you can synchronize the Contacts application with various accounts as well, like your Skype account or your Google account. As you can see, this is an example of where it seems to kind of hang up and not be all that responsive. And scrolling through the contacts, you can see it's kind of stuttery, not quite as smooth as it is on, say, an iPad. There's a phone and video calls option. Now this does have Skype abilities built in, and really that's the only thing that you can use the camera with right now, since there's no camera application. However, we were having trouble getting into our Skype account on it, so we weren't able to demo this just yet. But if you access the phone, you can place video calls to other Skype phone numbers, or if you happen to have a webOS phone paired to the tablet, you can make and receive phone calls on the tablet itself. Music application is pretty nice. It's on the touchpad itself, and you can access by artists, and it'll show you some album art there if it recognizes. It doesn't recognize on all of them, unfortunately. You can also browse by albums and genres, and then just by songs. And if you play a song, you can have it play in the background while you go do other things. And then you'll get a little player in your notification bar up there, and you can easily control the music or while you're in another application. You can create a playlist as well. There's a couple different ways to get music on the touchpad itself. You can drag and drop files on here, or you can use HP's newly released HP Play sync software, so you can sync your music from your computer to the touchpad. Looking at the Photos application, and what's cool about this is you can synchronize it with a couple different accounts, including Facebook, so you can browse your Facebook photos that you have on your account that's paired up with it. You can view them, you can see comments on them, and you can leave a comment. like so, and that will show up on Facebook. You can print it, you can add to a collection, or send it via email. And it just opens up an email message that you can send it to. And if you have album art, as you can see, I found some of the album art of the music that we loaded on here. And there you got the various default wallpapers. And as you notice, they're all square because the touchpad can be used in any orientation. So they've got to be large enough to display properly on the touchpad. webOS 3.0 and all webOS versions for that matter feature something called Synergy, which allows you to link up your contacts from the cloud, or your accounts from the cloud, and have everything work together. webOS 3.0 gives you quite a few options as far as accounts go. You've got AIM, Box.net, Dropbox, an email account, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft Exchange. Even supports Apple's Mobile Me service, PhotoBucket, Skype, Snapfish, Yahoo, and then you can add more from apps in the HP app catalog. So you got quite a few options. If you add your Dropbox account, for instance, you can access the documents and files that are in your Dropbox account. So it's pretty cool. Lots of different services there, and looks like HP can easily add more services as it feels necessary. Speaking of the app catalog, HP app catalog has been slightly redesigned for the tablet, and what they have here when you first open it up is called Pivot, and it's a new magazine style thing that shows off new applications and has some articles and stuff like that. So there's the first issue of Pivot. This automatically gets updated every single month with new content. You can actually swipe through, and it's got this type of magazine view. And it kind of features different applications that you can install directly from there. You got tabs down at the bottom here, so you can browse the categories of applications. You can't narrow it down to just touchpad applications because this actually shows both touchpad and phone applications. But anything that is for the touchpad does have notation on here that says for touchpad. As you can see, as we scroll down, here are some applications that aren't specifically for the touchpad. They're actually phone applications that will work on it, much in the same way that an iPhone application works on the iPad. The only limitation is that you will not be able to use it full screen. You only can use it on a shrunk-in window on the touchpad. You can browse by category. You can choose paid, new, or free there, or you can search. You can also bookmark an application, which will bring it up if you want to keep your eye on it as it gets updated. Give you an idea of what the one of the applications that was for the phone is like. If we open up AccuWeather here, as you can see, it's in a shrunken down window here, and kind of like a phone emulator almost, and it only works vertically. And you kind of got this strip here, which acts as your gesture area, like so. Not all applications will work either, so it is kind of hit or miss as to which ones do. Taking a look at the Facebook application. Now this was a Facebook application that was developed by HP specifically for the touchpad. It's kind of different than other Facebook applications that we've seen before. The only other tablet optimized one that we have that's official is the one on the Playbook, which has a 7-inch screen. And as you can see, you've got various things here. You can access news feeds, messages, events, places, friends, and photos. One thing that is missing here is any chat integration. But you do have your your standard messages, and you can see it's got the sliding pane interface that we saw in the email app. Once again, is here. There's a couple different ways you can view your news feed. You can view your standard feed like so, or if you tap this button here, you kind of have like a newspaper style of different updates that your friends might have. And these are kind of the things that can be frustrating with the touchpad, is when certain things just hang for no apparent reason. There we go. And you can see your various updates are laid out almost kind of like a newspaper, which is kind of cool. And you can tap an update, and this particular one had a link in it, so it showed the link of the embedded website here, which is kind of cool. You can pop that out to the browser if you'd like. There you go, you got the Facebook application for the HP TouchPad. And you also got a YouTube application here, which actually isn't really much of an application. It just kind of jumps you to the YouTube website, which most of the time works well, unless Flash decides not to cooperate so well. So there you have it. That's a rundown of the hardware and software on the HP TouchPad with webOS 3.0. This is HP's first venture into the tablet, competitive tablet space with webOS running on a tablet. And it does have some promising features and some nice things, but unfortunately there's certain things that just really need to be worked out that haven't yet. For one thing, the hardware is very, very thick and heavy, and certainly doesn't justify the price when compared with other things that are on the market that have a much more higher quality build feel to it. This particular unit is a 32GB Wi-Fi model, which retails for about $599, or about the same exact price as a 32GB iPad. Other things that we have issues with are it can be very laggy from time to time. Certain times applications just won't open, or will hang for a long time, or the whole OS itself will hang and then catch up all at once, which can be very frustrating. There's, of course, only a handful of applications available right now, so it is far behind the iPad as far as applications go. And there's also just some other quirks and weirdness about it. The fact that it only has a front-facing camera and no rear camera like many of its competitors. Otherwise, this does have a lot of promise, and we hope that HP does resolve a lot of the issues that we have with it, because it could definitely be a competitor. It certainly is one of the closest competitors that I've used to an iPad, but it just quite isn't there yet. For now, that's the HP TouchPad, and this is Dan Seifert from mobileburn.com. Thanks, guys.